time now for some real education. As the Olympics meander on and no one watches, as the games continue and nobody cares, as the athletes themselves are already telling us that they can't wait to get to the medal round so they can protest, everybody wonders why nobody watches anymore. So this whole week we are talking about the Olympics and sport in general and the relationship of sport to politics on the Dr. Duke Show. We've looked at a number of quotes so far this year. We will continue this week. We will continue to look at them all through the end of the week about this. Is it really such a good thing to mix politics and sports? I know it's trendy to say now that everything is political, Dr. Pesta. Every time you eat a box of Raisin Bran or you stop at a stoplight, every time you scratch yourself below the waist, there's politics involved with that, and we got to deconstruct that politics. Nonsense! I think this whole show today was dedicated to the premise that math is apolitical, and we demand that you prove it's not because you can't do it. So speaking about sports and politics, do we really need politics and sports? Our quote today is from that homespun Saturday Night Live wit and philosopher Norm Macdonald. And somebody needs to tell Norm that the color yellow does not look good on that pasty white face. Nevertheless, Norm Macdonald said this about sports and politics. And I quote, "I don't really like politics that much, and I like the order and simplicity of sports. They have an ending. You can argue with your friends about it, sports, but in the end, you still like sports. I almost love the fantasy world of sports than I love the real world." Norm, you're right. This is the thing. This isn't to say that sports can't be political after the fact, or that what happens in sports can't be a major influencer of how community and culture and civilization evolves. That's okay. But it's got to be sports first. Go back to what Norm said. He's exactly right. Most people don't like politics. Most people are willing to let other people have their own politics. They want to have their politics. Leave it at that. But I like the order and the simplicity of sports. That's beautiful. Sports is order. It is rules. It is a game played to certain standards. And the higher the level the sport is practiced, T-ball all the way to the major leagues, the greater the simplicity and the order. In a way, sports is the perfect mirror image of civilization, but without the politics. You may hate the Green Bay Packers, and you may love the Chicago Bears or vice versa, but you could talk about this. And after the game is over, you can move on. And guess what? Your team got torched, but you still love sports. You can't do it when it comes to politics. You can't do it when the laws that govern our day-to-day freedoms are at stake. But when you're talking about sports, you can. Finish off the quote one more time. Sports has an ending. You can argue with your friends about it and still like sports and still like your friends. I almost love the fantasy world of sports more than the real world. Civilization at its best runs like well-regulated sports at the highest level.